Hi, y'all. So, all this Diddy stuff reminded me of a couple recent conversations. Um, I was talking with a couple of friends, two different friends, at two different times from two different European countries, discussing a different book of mine with each of them. So, each of them had a different but interesting question. One asked if the book we were discussing was my way of working through my own trauma. The other noted, "You write a lot with the R word in it, so why so much?" Now, before we get to the answers to those questions, there are a couple points one needs to know about me, and both of these friends actually do know these things. Point one, I've been in healthcare for over 30 years. I trained at a level 1 trauma center in Chicago, and I've seen the effects of so many levels of depravity people perpetrate on one another up close, and it infuriates me. Point two, I despise, detest, and abhor bigots and bullies of every stripe. Now, I freely admit that I am bigoted against bigots, and therein lies my hypocrisy. Point three, the things I've seen others, and I'm talking about in particular innocents, like as in children, subjected to, usually by people who have little to no idea how to be human at all, let alone any kind of role model, and who shouldn't be allowed to have children, have caused a truly changing, life-changing expansion of perspective. Another issue regarding the R word, in 2023, there were over 165,000 reported R's in the US. Reported R's. Want to bet who reported the majority of them? Most likely, most often, women, adult women. You know who likely didn't report them? The women who are in unhealthful relationships and can't escape them because there are virtually no resources to help them. Or the ones that do exist are so overtaxed they can't stretch enough to help them stay escaped. You know who else likely didn't report them? Teens. Why? Most often it's because someone at home or in the family or the church are the ones that did it. You know who else didn't report? The infant, the 6-month-old, the 1-year-old, the 3, 5, 7, 12-year-old kid, boy or girl. How about the little boy who someone doesn't think is masculine enough because he likes to play with dolls or wants to grow his hair long? So that someone thinks that they have the right to R-word them so that they know what it feels like to be a girl. How about the bullies in the locker room who are somehow threatened by a boy who just happens to like to dance? You think most of these victims report that you would think, you think most of those victims report what was done to them if the injuries weren't severe enough to require it? No. Or even how about the adult males who are R'd by either men or women? Yeah, it happens. And somehow when it happens to a guy, it becomes a punchline? What is wrong with people? So, let's see. I mentioned one group who has probably reported in 2023, numbering around 165,000 R's. Now, girl children in the home, let's double that. That's 165,000 plus 330,000. And let's add half of that first 165 approximately to account for boys, men, and LGBTQ kids. And we're talking, and adults also, by the way. LGBTQ adults, yeah. And we're not even talking about traffickers here. For an estimated total of approximately 575,000 R's. Over 500,000 R's in 2023 in the United States alone, and I guarantee you that is a conservative estimate. We have a silent epidemic of S violence against the helpless in this nation. And honestly, if this doesn't make you mad enough to spit nickels, I can't imagine what might. So taking these numbers into consideration, I can actually see why my friend would have asked if I was working out my own trauma. And in a way, maybe I am, just not in the way they think. I have earmarked 10% of all my book sales to go to the trevorproject.org and itgetsbetter.org because I am so sick and tired of the filth out there who cry, the children, you must protect the children. Yeah, except when it comes to pew pew violence or S violence, or because they don't fit neatly into the two shades of gray that certain people work to box everybody into. For you who believe there's only this or that and nothing in between, let me ask you this. How masculine are you compared to all the other guys out there, really? Or ladies, how feminine are you? Because I got news for you. Existence itself is a spectrum, a very broad spectrum, with a quantity of range variations greater than you can begin to conceive of. Just think about how many color variations are on your computer's color palette, and then multiply that to the 10 to the 38th power. Oh wait, I'm asking Americans to do math. There aren't enough zeros for it, trust me on that one. All these folks, but especially the kids, deserve help. They need help and love and acceptance for who they are. And these two organizations are the first two that I'm starting with. So that is why these issues play so prevalently in my books. Lots of folks don't even want to know what's going on. I would like to think because it hurts them too much. But they're not the ones paying with their bodies, souls, and spirits. You can't fix a problem if you pretend not to know about it. The problem is the people who don't want to fix it are usually the ones screaming at the top of their lungs about other people doing it, but are actually the ones that are doing it themselves. Like the bigots screaming about a trans guy who dresses like the old woman who lives in a shoe to go read stories to kids at the local library, but has hard drives loaded with dark web kitty pee. Or like Orange Pile, bragging about grabbing women by the kitties because he can. And he gets away with it again and again and again. This is the same guy who back in the late 80s and early 90s was palling around with his BFF, Mr. I Own My Own Private Island, who later supposedly unalived himself while in jail and was accused of multiple R's. One of his accusers was a 13-year-old girl. 13. Do you know or have a little girl in your life who's 13? You gonna vote for anyone who does what he allegedly did to your 13-year-old girl? The same guy found guilty of S assault with his finger or undetermined body part, which in this particular case is considered R. You gonna vote for this guy? 40% of the folks of voting age in this country will vote for this lying, M-esting, alleged pedophile and 34-time convicted felon because the only color he has is the bronzer he slathers into the craters of his floppy, flapping face. Oh, and because he reviles women just as much as his supporters secretly do. So I return to my original question. Is this only in the U.S.? I guarantee you know someone, maybe dozens of someones who need organizations like the Trevor Project and It Gets Better, not to mention so many others. I'm going to put some of the links in the show notes below. Hopefully, I've got a donation campaign up with this vid. 100% of your donations goes directly to whichever organization is being highlighted this particular time if you donate here. Now, I'm working on putting together a raffle of some author proofs or author proof copies before the release of my latest book, which is The End of the Line, Heroes of the Line, Book 5. It is the last book in my Heroes of the Line series. Proof copies will be signed, of course. I haven't decided yet if we're going to do hardcover or keep it paperback, whichever one is, more carbon neutral, such as it is. The details will be coming within the next week or two, so we can run it through November and have the raffle in early December in time for Christmas. Anyway, thank you for being here. If you took something away from today's vid, please like, subscribe, and share with our community of creatives. And please ding the notification bell as well. Comments are appreciated. Trolls will be blocked. Thank you for your time. Remember, keep reading, keep writing, and we'll keep hope alive together. Till next time.